Calabrese style meatballs is what I grew up with in my home. My parents are both from Calabria, a small town in Gimignano, and this is the type of meatballs and verjole that they use. So I have 2 pounds of beef and 1 pound of pork. You can play with the meat. It doesn't really matter. If you don't like beef, you can use chicken. If you don't like pork, don't use pork. Put beef and veal in it. But you need a little bit of fattiness to it. So inside my 2 pounds of beef and my pound of pork, I have half a cup of Parmesan cheese. I have onion powder, garlic powder. You can use fresh if you want to. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever you have. I have dried parsley from my garden. I have half a loaf of soaked bread. So I cut off the crust. I soak it in water. You can use milk if you want to, and then I squeeze it out and I put that in. Okay, this gives us a nice soft meatball. 3 eggs, and then about a tablespoon of salt to start. Okay, and then you're gonna mush this up so that you incorporate the bread and the seasoning into the meat, and you're breaking it up. So you're mushing it, as you can see, so it all incorporates. And then once it's all incorporated, it'll probably take you about 5 minutes. What you can do is you can take a piece and you can fry it off and you can taste it for flavor. So once it's done, it's gonna look like this. Okay, it's nice incorporated, it's soft, it smells delicious. If you want more Parmesan, by all means add Parmesan. Just avoid the salt because you don't want it too salty. And then you want to let it sit so all the flavors can come out together, and then we can roll our round meatballs and we can cook them off. And then I'm also going to show you how to make a nice plate of verjole. Okay, meatballs, the meat is ready to go, so we're going to make some meatballs. I have my sheet pans. I put a little bit of olive oil on the bottom. Okay, I have my handy dandy scoop. Okay, you can make them whatever size that you want, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and what I like to do is I just like to make a few. This meat's nice and soft, it's flavorful. I cooked off a piece, I tasted it. It's been sitting for probably about 20 to 30 minutes, so all the flavors can come out. Okay, and then you pick up a meatball with the oil on your hands, and then you just roll them, and then you start laying them across your sheet pan. Now these are not going to be your typical store-bought meatballs or the ones that you might get in some restaurants. These are like going to be softer, which is how I grew up. My Nana Elena used to make the best meatballs, and that was something that I fell in love with right away as a child. After Mass we would go and she would have a meatball on a fork for every grandchild that showed up after Sunday Mass. So this is the process that we're going to do. Now I talked earlier about verjole, which is a Calabrese thing as well. Again, you take your scoop, okay, so that's going to be about the size, and instead of being round, okay, once we go to roll these, we make these into an oval or a log, however you decide to do it, okay? So they look like this. Again, a little bit of oil on your hands. Okay, and then we just roll them into a log. Then these are the verjole, which is very popular for one of the festivals in Italy. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this off, and then the meatballs will go in a 400-degree oven, probably for about 20 to 25 minutes until they're fully cooked, and then these I'm gonna fry. Okay, the verjole are in the frying pan, and they're being fried in olive oil and veg oil blend. And the meatballs, as you can see, are also in the oven. So I got about 55 meatballs in there. So they're going to take, again, about 20 to 25 minutes. And then these are going to get nice and brown on all sides. And then they're going to be ready to eat. Here are the verjole. So they're nice and golden on both sides, and they're crispy. And the meatballs are already dropped into sauce. So they're ready to package, or you can just heat the whole container if you're feeding a family of 30 when COVID is over. And that's about it. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you soon.